everyone, I'm your host Pensyfan19 and welcome to the August 2025 Pensyfan Periodical. This is a monthly news series which covers most of the major railroading headlines from around the world, as well as my opinions on them. We have a lot of articles to go over today, so with that in mind, let's get rolling. For the first time in a while, we're starting off this episode on the other side of the pond, as Alstom's Derby Works hosted the greatest gathering between August 1st and 3rd to celebrate the 200th anniversary of the Stockton and Darlington Railway, which is the first modern railway in the world. As the highlight of this year-long celebration of Railway 200, almost 150 different locomotives and multiple units attended this once-in-a-lifetime event at the Derby Litchurch Lane Works, one of the largest locomotive works in the UK, which is currently owned by Alstom, as several of the countless pieces of rolling stock in the festival were built at the very same Derby Works to this day. Highlights from the visiting engines include 19th century steam engines, such as Locomotion No. 1, steam excursion stars such as Flying Scotsman, a wide variety of Class 37s and similar diesels, including a Class 23 new build, modern EMUs like the Class 390 Pendolino, narrow gauge steam engines, passenger carriages and freight wagons, brand new train sets like the Class 755, hydrogen powered trains like the Class 799, and several non-rolling stock related exhibits such as various performances from local bands, and even the premiere of An Unlikely Fandom, a documentary about the Thomas the Tank Engine fandom. The event gained national coverage from a wide variety of British news networks and railway preservationists alike, as this is likely one of the largest and most diverse railway gatherings in the world, and a great way to celebrate the bicentennial of railroads. Speaking of which, here's some interesting news. Great Western Railway set a world record for having a Class 230 run on battery power for 200 miles. Hull Trains is offering free tickets for Coldplay concerts. Stadler has selected Rolls-Royce to develop engines for their Saudi Arabia Railways train set. BNSF has placed a massive plow on the front of an SD70 Mac. Amtrak hosted a charter train for Mumford & Sons Band consisting of 13 private cars. Canadian National hosted a hockey game to help the homeless. Norfolk Southern hired glitzy goats to help clear kudzu from their yards. Robert Primus has been fired from the STB. The FDA has issued a warning against radioactive shrimp sold at Walmart. Miles in Transit was featured in the news for his West Coast Mexico to Canada by public transit trip. Simply Railway says that Brightline is his favorite railroad in the world, while the same railroad is being sued by Florida East Coast Railway over starting commuter service between Miami and Aventura. DC to New York maglev has been cancelled. California High Speed Rail released a Lofi video, and Virgin Trains is back in the market as they plan on using Alstom Avila Stream HSTs to offer channel tunnel service between London and Paris in order to rival Eurostar. Now here's a follow-up news section for articles covering stories from previous episodes. BNSF and CSX are to offer a partnership intermodal service instead of merging. FTAI Infrastructure has acquired the Wheeling and Lake Erie. Western Maryland 202 is to stay in Hagerstown instead of being moved to Cumberland. Construction has commenced for rail service between Burundi and Tanzania. Guatemala and Belize are to consider joining Mexico's heavy rail network. DC Metro has revealed an updated livery for their 8000 series rail cars. Coaster CEM cab cars have entered service. North Star is to end service on January 5th. And SEPTA was not able to meet their funding deadline, with some bus services being cut on the 23rd. However, it is still not over for the transit agency, as the judge placed a temporary injunction on further cuts, and the next state senate session will be held on September 8th to discuss possible funding solutions. In other news, Boise is to consider commuter rail service to Nampa, while Nova Scotia is to consider commuter rail and light rail service in Halifax. Lyon Metro Line D is to be automated, along with Paris Metro's Line 13. Prime Minister Modi commenced automated service on Bengaluru Metro Yellow Line. Ecuadorian Railways has reopened the Devil's Nose Line. Arctic Rail started service in Finland. Vollert has filed for bankruptcy. Cracker Barrel has reverted to its original logo after an attempted rebrand. Labubu's have entered the Brightline social media cinematic universe. New South Wales is testing their RAXS technology grade crossing. Gros is to build an autonomous track inspection car for PKP. MPK Krakow has purchased Pesa Twist 3.0 trams. Cottbus has placed their Skoda 4City Plus 47T trams into service. North Korea has placed their open-air tourist trams into service. Arivia Vlagfleet has purchased second-hand Stadler GTWs. Mongolia has converted one of their diesels to be a diesel battery hybrid. Richmond Pacific placed their converted MP15cc into service. A wildfire destroyed several engines of the Sugarcane Railway. The Terrible Trolley has been restored at the PA Trolley Museum based on the Pittsburgh Steelers' Terrible Towel. And the Lake State Railway Museum revealed a Pierre Marquette SD70M Heritage Unit. After all that, it is now time for this month's Meme of the Month. This month's Meme of the Month is... Friendship ended with 1899. And now, the top story of the August 2025 Pensyfan periodical is... They're here! Amtrak Mardi Gras and Avelia Liberty! Finally, the time has come. Two of Amtrak's most long-awaited projects have finally started service, amazingly in the same month no less, as Amtrak's Mardi Gras service between New Orleans and Mobile opened to the public on August 18th, and the Avelia Liberty high-speed train started service on the Acela just 10 days later on the 28th. Starting off with the first of the two, the Mardi Gras is a result of several proposals and test trains along the Gulf Coast ever since service was temporarily suspended between New Orleans and Jacksonville in 2005 due to Hurricane Katrina. The start date of this intercity service was pushed back from the late 2010s due to disputes between Amtrak and the track owner CSX, who didn't want their existing freight services along the line to be disrupted, with one previous top story on the periodical claiming that the service would start in Q1 2022. But after a series of negotiations, station improvements, and track upgrades, the Mardi Gras service commenced on August 16th with a press run, followed by regular service the following Monday the 18th, to much fanfare on both ends of the train. The train currently consists of two Amfleet 2 coaches and an Amfleet 1 cafe, usually with an engine or two on each end, with service running twice a day between the 5 stops, with its waterside views of the Gulf Coast making this service one of the most scenic trains on the East Coast. Going further up along the East Coast, we have the Alstom Avelia Liberty, or Next Gen Acela, entering service on the Acela Express between Boston and Washington, D.C., with the press run being held on the 27th, the same day that the FRA took over control of D.C. Union Station, followed by the start of regular service the following day on the 28th. Initially constructed in 2017, and after several years of testing and delays, at least 2 train sets have started service on the Acela, as they include 9-car-long trains when compared to the previous 6, lighter articulated coaches, and a top speed of 160 miles per hour on some segments of the line in Rhode Island and New Jersey. This event received much more fanfare from rail fans, news agencies, and more, with several pieces of merchandise being distributed to passengers on their first day of service, with yours truly being lucky enough to ride one of the first runs, namely Train 2173 from New York to Philadelphia. The primary complaint from passengers seems to be about the seat design, but they do get more comfortable the longer they're used, so it might become less of a problem once they get more wear from more passengers. And the acceleration is definitely the greatest aspect of these train sets in my opinion, as they feel much quicker in the areas that historically saw slower approaches. Overall, it's been a much needed good month for Amtrak, as 2 of their longest discussed and longest delayed projects have finally commenced operations, as the Mardi Gras will help open up another new market in passenger rail that connects more communities, and the Avelia Liberty will help bolster an already strong market with higher speeds and newer technology. Thank you everyone for watching this month's episode of Pensyfan Periodical. There have been a lot of rail news headlines for the month, and it will be very interesting to see what the future has in store for all these articles. Thank you again for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more. Have a good day.